guys asked for it. Here it is. Today we're doing pixel art water. Hey guys, welcome back to TutsByKai. I'm Kai, and today we are back in LibreSprite once again, taking a look at how to create some pixel water animation. So many people have been asking for water pixel art, which is pretty cool. There's so many different ways to do water. I think we're gonna bang on a couple of tutorials, but for right now, we're just gonna do a pretty basic one. It's actually really simple to do. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this blue color right here because it's pretty perfect already. We're gonna hit G to bucket fill, and just bucket fill our entire canvas here. I'm on 16 by 16, by the way. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this darker blue color and change the hue to the right a little bit, maybe darken it up, saturate it in a little bit. And now I'll go ahead and with my brush tool, I'll just draw in like some random like lines like this, just around the edge, trying not to go past the second pixel here. Like that third one right there is pushing it a little bit, but I'll leave it. But we don't want to, what I mean is like don't go all the way out here like this. That's just too much. But I'll go ahead and I'll hit G to bucket fill once again all of these pieces that I did not grab the first time. Now this is too much over in this section right here though, so I'll fix that up. And I will actually get rid of that because it's gonna bug me. Make sure none of these are like 1 pixel big because it really looks quite weird. So I'll go ahead and just try and polish this on up right now. Do something like that maybe a little closer to the edge right here. Something like that. Yeah, sure. That looks pretty good. And once we do that, once you have your base down and perfected the way you really want it, you can go ahead and start working on the animation, which is actually more simple than you think. I'm actually going to go ahead and lighten this color a bit. So I'll eyedrop that. We'll drag it up a little bit to the left and saturate it a bit. We'll do something like this and kind of just give it a random. And you know what we'll do? We'll undo that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll duplicate all of these layers first. We'll duplicate, right click, duplicate cell, and we'll just hit Alt D a couple times. That's duplicate, Alt D, Alt D, Alt D, Alt D, Alt D. 5 should be good. We'll do 5. 5 should be good. If you want to do more, you can do more, but 5 is definitely good the way it is. We'll go ahead and I'll just add in a couple of these weird kind of texture lines is what I like to call them. And we'll just add in a little bit of these just to give it a bit of random S type quality. Something like that, perhaps all the way around. And then we'll go ahead and also, the same exact thing. You know what, since this color's kind of dark, this main water looks kind of tropical, so I want to change that. We'll drag this base color up once again, the blue. We'll drag it up to the left a little bit and down, desaturate a little bit. And then we'll bucket fill like that. That looks much better. All right, I like that a bit better than I liked it before. And you know what? You know what I want to do? I want to get rid of those texture lines. I lied. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get rid of those texture lines because I have a better idea. I'll use that blue color because that looks much better with this shade of blue. All right, so we have that. I'll go ahead and I'll fix that on all the different frames. So now we have the same thing for all 5 frames. There we go. On the first frame, I want to leave this the way it is. On the second frame, I want to go ahead and change around these blue lines we have around the edges here. I want to go ahead and add some where there was none, and then I'm going to get rid of where they were. So the easiest way to say this is all the things that are sticking out, I want to push them in, and all the things that were all the things that are going in, I want to stick them out, which is a much easier way to describe than going, hey, just invert everything. I could have said that. Actually, I probably should have said that. That's much easier to understand. But anyway, we'll go ahead and push all these out right here, these out right here, and we'll go ahead push these inward, and you kind of get the idea most likely. I'm gonna try and refrain from going all the way out to the edge because that's gonna look a little peculiar. So I'll go ahead and do something like that, and this top piece needs to be touched up a little bit. Something along the lines of this, maybe something like that. So you can see this is a bit too big of a jump here, so I'll go ahead and fix up this edge right here. A bit too big of a jump there. I want to kind of have a similarity to all of these different places, so I don't really want them to all be like super different than the last one. I'll turn on onion skinning here, and I will go ahead and hit this button right here. Well, what I'll do is I'll hit this button to the left and make sure it says in front of sprite. So now you can see all of the different layers of the animation that we have here. So this is going to help us out a little bit to know where we had some frames before. So I'll go ahead and do the same process. I'll get rid of all of these. I'll push this out a little bit. Just make it a bit more random than it was, a bit different than it was before, not changing anything too Jurassic. And we'll go ahead and fix that up like that. Just a little bit of motion is what I want really along the edges here. And I'll go ahead and just flip these around a little bit. And we'll continue this process. You want to make sure none of your frames are a bit too small, like this one here. This one might be a bit too small, so I'll go ahead and I'll push these edges out and back a little bit, something like that. I never really want to have 3 pixels on any of the sides because that might be just a bit too thick. So I'll go ahead and make sure that nothing looks weird. We don't have too many onesies like this one has here. And once you have all that taken care of, I think we're at the time where we can go ahead and slow this animation down by going to the constant frame rate, changing the milliseconds to somewhere around 50. Oh no, and sorry, we have to go up to make it slower. So we'll go somewhere around 200 maybe, and we'll see what that looks like. And that might be a bit too fast still, so we'll go ahead and go to 300 even, something like that, because water moves pretty slow. Yeah, and as I said, this is just one block of water. If you were doing like a corner piece, then of course you would have like it go like this instead, you know, and then you would tile them together. If you're doing like a straight and narrow piece, you would cut out the top and the bottom, something like that. But of course, this is one single tile, so you can see all the edges here for the sake of the tutorial. I will go ahead and I'll actually lighten up these edges color once again by eyedropping our base color. And then bucket filling the rest of these edges because it is a bit dark, so that looks a bit better to me. So we'll do something like that, and then I also want to go ahead and do a bit of the shading for the outside as well. So we'll go ahead and I'll put in a couple of these shading pixels around the edges, just where I'm seeing like double amount of pixels. Like you don't want to put them right here on the onesies. So I'll go ahead and I'll put these around the double edge sides here, like when there's 2 pixels around every side. I'm going to go ahead and eyedrop our base color and lighten the color a lot, almost to white, and I'll draw like this really abstract circle in the middle of all of our water pieces. Alright guys, I've gone through and I've purposely added a little bit of the pixels back in. I haven't filled the entire thing in purposefully. And I'm thinking that these edges are a bit too dark, so we'll go ahead and go to our trusty, dusty color changer. I dropped the lightest of the dark colors here, and we'll go to replace color, and I'll replace this with an eyedropped version of, well, a different color version that's similar to the base version that we have already. Alright guys, that looks much better and much less ugly, so we will go ahead and I think this is a bit too bright now. See, this middle piece is just a bit too bright now that we have changed that. I think it'll look much better lighter, so I'll go ahead and eyedrop that base color. We'll lighten it just a little bit, something like that maybe, and we'll go ahead and hit G, bucket fill every single one of those, and that looks much better. So that looks pretty good. Now the last thing I want to do, well, one of the last things I want to do is grab a solid white, and we'll go ahead, and maybe not a solid white, maybe just a little bit lighter than the lightest color we have, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just put like a few, brush, and a few little ripples with, I want to turn onion skin on, and we'll just put a few ripples with onion skin onto the water's surface right there, and just make them disappear. They'll taper off and kind of go into the waters there. So that looks pretty good for that over there, and I want to go ahead and try and get this to be as fluid as possible. But I'm thinking that looks pretty good for the ripples themselves. There could be a couple other things we could do with this, but I think that looks pretty good the way it is. Like I said, this is just one of the first, most likely, mini water tutorials. There's many different ways to do water. And like I said, I love doing water. You guys asked for it so much, so here it is. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial, but until then, bye-bye.